Hello, this is a tutorial on using pack animations to do more complicated maneuvers in the air, switching between pack movement in order to go from like moving fast in the air or So for example, on this pack, I have a thing that detects if I'm in the air, and so long as I'm in the air, it lets me use a ground slam attack. It doesn't usually do that ever. I don't know why I did that, but there we go. And I also have that ground slam so long as So if you want to learn how I did effectively the logic behind this, it's a couple of things. I wouldn't worry too much about this stuff. Pretty sure that could be what's causing me to bug out. Oh, would you look at that? Now I'm actually able to use this shit. Right, well, anyways. What you want to do is, effectively, this is going to come in two parts. So you want probably a command event. This will activate when a command is activated. So you're going to want to first invert it so when you create the event, because when it's created at first it's going to be red, and there's this annoying bug with pac3 where if you have an event affecting something and then you remove the event, that something stays hidden forever. So you want to enable it, and it might be fixable through a WiiWare or deleting or duplicating it, but I personally just make sure that the event is enabled and then you affect children only, so that only the children of the event are affected. So this command event exists so that you can have a toggle or a something that works on a set timer, or you can use it for cooldowns or something that goes beyond the scope of the regular button press. So you have buttons, and you can technically do things using the buttons. Like if I have this and I have a sphere on the head, right? And I set the button to G. Then I invert it. The button's no longer the ball is no longer visible. But then when I press G, it creates the ball, or unhides the ball, because that's what events really do. They just unhide things or hide things. And the issue with this is that it has to be held down. You want to create something that's a little bit more automatic so that it'll be easier, and you don't have to be doing all kinds of stupid things just for something to work. So what I do is I create this find simple G event. So this is still useful. It's just not going to be doing what you'd expect. You create this advanced. You go into advanced. You go into command. What this will do is run a command in the console. You go to string, and you're going to do pack_event, and then name it whatever you want. So there's going to be a space after event, and then I'm going to call it slam, because you want to do a slam or something like that, right? And then you're going to be going and creating another event, and this will listen out for the event in the console, where it listens out for pack_event and then followed up by whatever string. And once it hears that, it's gonna find the command name, and it's gonna be like, alright, so I hear the word slam, so I'm gonna be doing it for 0.1 seconds. But let's say I want to have a duration of 5 seconds. So it's gonna hear me type in pack event slam, and it fires it off for 5 seconds, 3, 4, 5, and then it's going to turn it off. So now you basically have something that listens out for when I press G and activates a command event for 5 seconds. Down here, you're going to see that event wheel thing. I haven't looked too much into it, but essentially, you can activate slam through a command wheel that they can. I have not messed with it, so this is not the tutorial for that. But just know that there's a good amount of functionality there. So with this, you're probably going to want two states. Well, actually, no. So what you're going to want to do now that you have a duration of 5. So 5 is our maximum duration. You might actually want to do it to like 6 or 7. And so that way we can have some time to like listen out, because this is going to contain listening out for when you press the for when it's activated, and then like doing the animation where it's going towards the ground. So it listens out to see if you're in the air. If you're in the air, it's going to go towards the ground, and then if it's on the ground, it's going to slam on the ground and make an animation or do some cool wacky thing, right? And then you're going to want to use my favorite event ever, the time EX event, or timer X. Timer X, and it's going to check to see, so there's the operator. Find simple, I believe, is the same as find or equal. I don't know the specifics on that. I also don't know what maybe is. Like, what is maybe for? It's a little wacky, but what you want to do is you're going to want to see first, when you're building this logically, you're going to see, okay, so before 5, so long as it's, well, no. Well, okay. We're not going to do the timer event. We're going to actually do, we're going to do a air, or maybe ground. Yeah, if it's on the ground, then we can do anything else. So make sure to invert that, by the way, because when it's uninverted, you'll see the tiny little timer next to it. That means that it's hidden. So then you have to affect children only, and now you can actually invert it. Because if you have it if you have it on that, then it inverts it, and then if you affect children only, now it's stuck like that, even if you like make it like that. So make sure that this is still activated, that the clock is not there above it. It's going to happen for every event that you do, because pac3 is like that. So this is on the ground. So if it's not on the ground and G is pressed, well, it now knows that I'm on the ground. Invert essentially is if it's on the ground. So you're going to want to uninvert it. So if it's in the air, then it's going to do the whatever is beneath it. And this is where we're going to start. We're going to put in our first player movement. But before we do any of that, we're going to have a default set of player movement. And now I remember why I actually wanted to do the command. So this command is going to be the opposite. So whenever this button is not pressed, then it's going to be good. So if I press G, they swap sides. So now this command is going on, and it's checking to see if it's on the ground, while this command is automatically off. And then when it finishes, it flips it right around. So now we have a default set of animations. Or not animations, player movement. And this will be our default set of player movement. It's going to be underneath entity player movement, and then you click that, and now you have a bunch of parameters to mess with. You can mess with the sprint speed, the run speed, the walk speed, tuck speed, jump height, max ground speed, and all kinds of things. If you want to be able to fly, which I'm sure you do, then you check allow Z velocity. However, The issue is that there was an update to pac that makes it so that flight speed is hooked up to your run speed, and you're also your max airspeed. So if you set your max airspeed to this, it won't be able to do much. But if you, well, maybe if I wear it, still no. Okay, so then you're gonna want to maybe like double the sprint speed. No, nope. Maybe 100 airspeed. Maybe 400 of this. Damn, we really live in a society. Perhaps I turn off air friction. So air friction actually disables your ability to air strafe. So that's something to keep note of. So if you have it at 0.1, now you can. Oh, actually, was it at 0.05? I don't remember what it was before. It was 0.01? Okay, cool. But now it's permanently busted, whatever. If I do this, maybe it's like, and then max airspeed 100,000. There we go. So it's actually about the airspeed, I believe. So if I have this, now you have some lift, but it's attached to your ground speed. So let's say I want to have like 2,000 sprint speed, and now you can fly. And we'll do this. Okay, so now we have flight, but we still don't have a slam, and we want to have a slam. So essentially all it's going to do is check if we're on the ground, and if it's on the ground, then we're going to put on player movement. We're going to set the gravity to be like -2,000, so it's very heavy gravity. And then set everything to 0, so you no longer have as much control. Well, actually, yeah. And then 0 air friction, have 100,000 airspeed, so that you're not like frozen in place while you're doing the slam. And this should disable all your controls as you're doing the slam. And now, if I do this button, now it does that. But now note that when I hit the ground, this is disabled, and now I have completely normal movement. Everything is disabled. Both this and this are both disabled. So you might want to have another version of this command event that's inverted, so that now it checks to see if you're actually on the ground. And we'll do it again. Okay. I think it actually finally hit the bug where it's stuck and it can no longer we finally hit the bug where it's stuck, and sometimes you'll have conflictions between when it's switching between these two movements. So what I do is, because none of these are active at the exact same time, however, there might be like a frame or two where both of them might be active, and then they one of them deactivates or whatever, and that unactivates everything, and then now you're actually moving like this. Or sometimes you might get you stuck in like a fast state or whatever you want to do, like whatever you're doing in between that's supposed to only last for a few moments. So my fix for this is taking a timer X. Sorry, I've been thinking about proxies too much. And you do what you do with all the normal event stuff, and then now you set it to equal or below, or actually equal or above, because you're gonna want to activate this movement about 0.1 of a second later, so that it's not happening at the same time as this one. And now we put this underneath this, and then we put this, we take this timer X and we do the same thing over here. Event timer X equal or above 0.1. Oh, another important thing is to set it to reset on hide and sync to time. I believe sync to time is basically like when a timer above it is activated, and then it'll continue off from where that finished. And then reset on hide is it'll reset the timer every single time it's hidden. And then rewear the outfit. So now when I do this, I jump in the air, I land on the ground. Oh, I actually forgot to invert one of these, which is pretty funny. Oh yeah, I did invert it. Oh, how dare you, it's the effect children only here. So I uninvert this, effect children only, invert, and then I grab this and then I put it underneath this. So now we have two parallel running things. Is ground when it's actually on the ground, and when it's not in the ground. It's gonna be inverted here. It's just weird stuff. You're gonna get used to it as you do it more. So now you jump in the air, you slam, and now I'm stuck on the ground for however long this thing is gonna last. And if you want to cap it out, like the amount of movement or whatever, then you can actually do like another event so that you're not stuck on the ground for like the rest of the remaining 7 seconds on this command. You could do another timer, and then if it's like equal or below, and then I'm gonna make sure that this is not doing anything silly. So let's say like if you hit the ground, you're gonna be stuck there for 3 seconds or until the end of that slam. Equal or below 3 seconds. Boom. So now this activates only when I'm on the ground. So now if I do this again, 1, 2, 3, and now I'm able to move again, even though the command is still active. And now I get back to this. If I really wanted to, I could even have a parallel of this clone equal or above, or just above, and I'll do like 3.1 just in case, to add that extra buffer so that they're not active at the same time. And during this, I'll have it moving like very slowly, like 100, 100, 100, 100, and then like jump height is like 100 as well. So for the rest of these 7 seconds, I'm going to be moving slower than usual. So there are multiple phases going on here, just to reiterate. So we're gonna focus mostly when it hits the ground. Okay, actually no, we're gonna focus when it's in the air. It's gonna check to see if it's over 0.1 seconds, and then it's gonna speed me up, so I slam down into the ground. Then it's gonna go into another version of this. When it's on the ground, it's gonna see. Alright, so now is it above 0.1 seconds? If so, alright, sorry about that. So now we had the logic all set up. Effectively, we can do whatever the heck we want. We have a jump, we have a slam, and then we have a slower than usual run cycle or walk cycle following that up. And then we can go. And that happens for the rest until, you can just use timer X like this. And as long as you use it cleverly, you can, as long as you set a proper like buffer between the movements, the transitions of movements, then you're pretty much golden. So the rest is basically just adding onto it and making it pretty, like pretty much what pac3 is all about. So this right here is going to make sure, this is basically the moment you land, you have something that can go on during the entire time. You have something that goes on during like the initial impact. You can even make another one that's like really quick, or so like if I wanted to have a, well, I'm gonna have to do all this and then do this, and now this is always going to be active. So this is just like, you're going to have to just kind of remember these patterns, or maybe you can use something to take notes or whatever. But I could have like particles, and then I set the particle to like the floor, and then I point it up negative 90 degrees, and then turn off collision because we want it to go through the floor. Then we increase the number of particles. We'll do like 20, but then like a fire delay of 0, and then like an end size of like start size of like 50, end size of like 40, I guess, and then like the alpha. Where's alpha? Yeah, start alpha, end alpha. And well, actually, wow, that's really crazy big. And then we're gonna use like some sort of like dust particle. Yeah, like this. If you want, you can turn off lighting, so now it looks, but now it's always gonna be visible even in the dark. So that's just a caveat that you'll have to deal with. You can turn on spread. You can then do position spread like this, or you can do position spread 2, which spreads it in a X or a Y or a, my favorite, Z, because now you can move the particle over like this, and it creates like a line in front of you. I was thinking about doing an attack that was like a sword swing that goes upwards, and then like this goes up into the air or something. You can also color these as well, particles. So you can also set it to follow. If it's set to follow, then it'll automatically follow you like a VR chat player model. That's like poorly made. Yeah. Then when you're done messing with these individual parts, then you just invert the correct ones. Just follow it logically. Like, alright, so this is on the ground. This is probably going to be the one that plays when you're on the ground because it has all these events attached to it. And then, So now, when I do the slam, I'm going to wear my pack because sometimes the movement gets bugged out. As usual, when there's two movements that are going on at the same time, pack will bug out. So now, like that. And that quite literally, that is as advanced the logic gets for this kind of stuff. When you have this down, it's literally just a sequence of events that play at different amounts of time, and you get used to that, you pretty much have it handled. One more thing I want to mention, you can also have, with that command event thing, and if you have a command, if you have a button as well, so a button, a command, you make them not broken, so then you're gonna have to do this and do this. If I have a button that activates the command, Actually, let's not do that. Just a command. If we have a command, this event duration will not matter. If I do, let's do like raw, yeah, like raw. Okay. So pack event raw 2. It will stay on. And if you run pack event raw 2 again, it will turn off. If you do it 1, it will turn on again. Do it 1 again, it will stay on. You do 2, and then 2 again, it will turn off. So 2 effectively is a toggle while 1 turns it on. And pack event raw 1, pack event raw 0 turns it off. So you have 1, 0, and 2, which is for toggle. And what you can do is you can bind a button. Bind, let's say this button. Pack event raw 2. Or is it bind and then like this? Okay, I put this part in quotation marks then. There we go. Okay, so now if I press this button, now it turns on. I'm sorry, I had to put it in the game. pac3 hide turns off your controls. But if I have it like this and I press the button, there. By the way, quick little note. Alt E hides your cursor, lets you control your character while the UI is up. Control E hides the UI and lets you look around. And with that, that should be the video. Thanks for watching, and maybe might make more tutorials like this. I like pac3 a lot, so toodles.